this computer.
There you go.
You think I should make a view such way that it's like two of us are shown, or only one of like one speaker? So I think let's keep one speaker.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah, cool. So update is that I spent a couple hours today fixing SEO articles from the agency, and I decided to stop partnering with them because I'm sick of it. It's like I spent already what 5 to 7 hours total explaining them, okay, how to do call to actions, how to do formatting, and so on. And I understand that, look, with the other agency I've been partnered with, I had to do literally zero edits apart from super minor ones one time in 2 months on one article when it came to like fixing anything. And with these guys, it's going to be my second, if not the third month already. And I received the article, and half of it is so cringe that, for example, imagine you're reading an article about B2B SaaS product demos, and then there is a phrase, so do you know how to get more SaaS demos or something? And then drum roll. It's like, why do I add this stuff? And I cannot get
Is
them
it?
done. Yeah.
There's a high chance that that's like AI generated content.
Not even AI generated. I think, look, it's either a $3 an hour VA or AI or both. And that's why, I mean, I I don't want this, because at least the other agency, yeah, sure, it's been a couple $100 more, but it felt human. So now I'll be doing the other so I spent the whole morning today fixing this SEO articles.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, let me write back to the guys who got me to become #1 as SaaS coach on Google, because
Yep.
they eventually did. And I see some of their packages. So for example, now I'm paying this one provider around 1K for 4 articles and 4 backlinks, but it's not including the cost of the backlink anyways. And this one cool provider, which I liked for a year, is going to be 4.5K words total. In other words, 3 articles and 3 backlinks. And they will just not be putting this to my site, but I'll get my operations manager to do that. So on the site, they are like 1,300. I emailed the guy because we caught up a couple times in London in networking events. I'm like, man, how about 900? He's like, can do 1K. I'm like, sorted, deal. Yeah, and because for 1K, getting this few articles plus 3 backlinks in 40 plus domain rating websites is sweet. And yeah, sure, I'll get my person to upload them, but I mean, I'll be saving more of my time not fixing. I don't want my life to be fixing the writing after
Of
AI and
course.
3 hour, like $3 per hour VAs.
Of course. Otherwise, you would just do it yourself, and it would probably be the better from the first time than that.
Yeah, and I think as you know, as you landed in Tampa, and it's the first time I hear your voice so early in the morning, it's also deeper than it ever been.
I
You
guess
sound like a Santa Claus.
I guess that's normal, especially when you're jet lagged. So yesterday I woke up on my own at 5:30 a.m. because that's 11:30 in Europe. And I was walking around Tampa downtown, and nothing's open, not a single cafe, not a single store. Like, all right,
You're back to the promised land where you have to drive 2 hours for a cafe, yeah?
yeah. No, the cool thing about being here in Tampa downtown is that actually everything is walking distance.
Walking, yeah.
Everything is walking distance.
And what we've heard from other guys in States is the only place in States which is where the walking distance is a term at
Yeah,
all.
yeah. And it's pretty nice. Can complain. I think the best thing about Tampa is two things. One, there's not a lot of traffic compared to how nice everything is. Usually when you have like downtown centers, You know how London is when you have downtown London. It's
You don't
just
drive in, yeah.
you don't drive because you can't drive. And then the second thing is it's almost November and I'm in flip flops and it's 30 degrees Celsius. So
For
that's a
me and
really
you, it's I mean, not sure about Croatia, but for me, it's for I'm getting used to having winters without snow, because even that for me is like summer without sun. Is
yeah. So can't really say I love Tampa so far. Yeah, and the cool thing is just across the street, just in a couple of buildings, you have so many people that are all doing the same thing. Um,
agencies, IT.
yeah. I literally had one of our prospects. We were actually on a sales call. I'm looking at his building right now. When we had a call, I'm like, yeah, I'm staying in Tampa. I'm staying at this hotel, and he's like, is this hotel
This
in the back?
is
Like
this window, yeah.
this hotel in the background, and we were joking yesterday. We had some cigars, and we were joking yesterday that I can probably see in his bedroom and see how he's sleeping because it's like right next to each other. So the cool thing is you got a lot of people in the same place doing the same things. So I personally wouldn't move here just for that sake. I feel like it would be too distracting on how many people there are that you can grab coffees with, have lunch with, and I think it will just get distracted. But aside from that, love it. Love the city. City looks pretty freaking good.
Do you think it does more good for you or bad for you when you live among people who are all pushing the same thing?
I would say it's definitely beneficial. I would say as long as you can control it and not get carried away in terms of how much you're hanging out with people. Because like here, it's like, oh, it's a Thursday. Let's go out and drink and have some beers and go have dinner. And then that carries on into I'll wake up later in the morning. And so you have to kind of control it so it doesn't take over. But I think overall it's great. Like yesterday, we were walking around Tampa, me, Matt Lucera, and Eamon, and Alex Welch, going to grab some coffee, and like we go into a coffee shop. Oh, there's Christian from CA and Max, and we just like, oh, what's up? Like, let's grab coffee. We grab coffee, say hi to them, and then
Like
go
in a
somewhere.
summer camp, in some
Yeah,
for
yeah.
yeah, for example, I would go to summer camp and then you don't even chat with people, and then you occasionally see them, oh, they are here, and so on.
Right. It feels like a small. We kind of said that it feels like a fraternity.
Yeah, CA headquarters.
CA headquarters. Yeah, CA headquarters. Yeah, but it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Question for you. How has this week been in terms of book calls? Good?
Very good. I think this last 4 weeks were at our record high. Yeah, so for example, couple weeks ago, we were at what, 10, 12 booked calls week, and you said, okay, let's make sure that we keep doing the same thing and do it even better. And that's what we've done. And that's how every single week since then. For example, let me open it up real quick. I think so. Looking at my calendar this week, 5 to 7 calls. Past week, again, 4 to 6 calls. Week before that, 7 calls. Week before that, 11 calls. And the powerful thing is, it's not just that there are, say, like 3, 4 people who are close to joining, but also for next week, I've got Monday, 1, 2, 3, then Tuesday, 4, 5, 6, and then for Thursday I've got 7, and for Friday I've got 8, and then another one is booked in a week from now.
You have 9 calls already pre-booked.
For before the week started, and I think I've never had 9 calls before the start of the week for next week.
That's really good. Where are the channels? Where do people find you?
I mean, yeah. What happens if you follow up on 100 people on LinkedIn every day and send 1,000 emails every day? Wow, 1 month passes, and once we were able to fix this lead list, it works. Because, for example, we were at this 1 to 3% positive reply rate on email campaigns, and now, so we got the 4th LinkedIn profile for outreach just this morning, and we should be getting the 5th one. However, in the long term, as we discussed, it might not be that we want to scale by going from 5 to 30 LinkedIn profiles, even though it's working, just because of the complexity of operational handling of all that and just so much headache. However, the main thing which also happened is we changed the lead list on cold email. And for example, a proper lead list, when it's working fine, we are at, I would say, 1 to 3 positive replies a day. Then we had this one idea of mine, oh, how about we scrape 30,000 people in one pack and test it out? But it seems like there were too many enterprise companies and employees from there, so we were below that. Now we put another lead list from Apollo that's been, I don't know, we scraped it in what, 20 minutes, and we've been sitting on 2 to 4 positive replies a day last 2 weeks. And it's very nice.
Yeah, it is. I would say in terms of the LinkedIn profiles, the way that you would go from 5 to 30 is you need to find a quota that works for a single SDR. And something that we need to think of is just having really good reporting on the activities that the SDR is doing in the LinkedIn profiles. And then it can be a game of just duplicating SDR, just bringing on more SDRs that are doing the job.
I know, and that's the classical way to scale it. Is just, I'm not. I understand that, for example, there are a bunch of people who in our network, like for example, Dylan Rich and a few others, they, for example, find a winning LinkedIn script and they go from 5 profiles to 35 profiles. That's it. You get 1 lead per 100 messaged, and you just scale it by 30 profiles.
Right.
I, however, understand that it's just, we talked about it, adding 40 more domains is so much easier than 30 more LinkedIn profiles, which are all disconnecting and ruining all the time.
Yes, I would say even though it's easier, it doesn't mean, or even though that adding the LinkedIn profile is harder, it doesn't mean it's a reason not to do it. But I would say we need to get a unit that is working, right? So an SDR and an X amount of LinkedIn profiles that is working. And we know like this is reasonable for the SDR to do in terms of volume of connections, outreach, follows up. And once we have that figured out, it won't get like the volume of outreach you're going to be doing with 2 SDRs is going to be double than you have from one, but the operational complexity won't be double having 2 SDRs instead of once. It'll maybe be 10% more, 20% more, but it definitely won't be 100% more, right? So I think the way to do it is let's master one SDR and a set amount of LinkedIn accounts, figure out, okay, what are our quotas in terms of volume of outreach, and then what are our numbers in terms of connection percentage, open rate percentage, booking rate percentages, and figure out all these KPIs just so we can have an accurate idea of like how much can a single SDR bring to us. And then once we figure that out and be like, okay, let's double this, let's bring on another SDR and see if it matches. If it matches, awesome. Let's bring on another, and you can then infinitely scale with this.
So you think it will be a route of 5 SDRs and 40 LinkedIn profiles?
Of course. I mean, when you look at bigger companies, like it isn't for no reason that they have literal floors in high-rise buildings of just SDRs.
Really?
Calling people. It's like, yeah, it's just volume of outreach that you're doing, just like calling. And it's not only LinkedIn, right? It's calling people, it's following up with leads, prospects, like going through the CRM. Like your CRM probably has hundreds of leads that at some point expressed interest. And an SDR, a good SDR, would be able to take that CRM and call people up like, hey, like 3 years ago, you applied for this ebook that I was doing. Are you still like running the SaaS? What's up? And like filtering through that pipeline, you're probably going to get a lot of deals that are probably left on the table.
Fair. I think I already have a ballpark figure of this, like input quotas for the day, which are, so for example, if there are no other tasks apart from pure follow-ups and pipeline management, then it's 100 follow-ups in a day on LinkedIn. And this is around 15 follow-ups a day on cold email, plus clearing out all the like follow-ups for the day pipeline, which are rather around 20 people, partly from LinkedIn, partly from cold email. We like, for example, I told Marco that okay, we want to be hitting 100 LinkedIn follow-ups every day, and we've been around 100 for the last few days. We booked 4 calls yesterday. And for example, I think we'll continue getting this female profiles just because reply rate is just so much better.
So much better.
Yeah, because these technical founders who we understand they're just responding, and sometimes it's uneasy for us to understand if the person is hitting on our Doris and Ashley and Melody, yeah, or if they're interested in the like in the offering. But fun, okay.
I would say that one thing that's going to be key for us is just we need to have consistency around the inputs. So you kind of have an idea on the inputs right now as is, but that needs to be running for a month or two to actually have like we already spoke about this. Just like we need to have a month or two of trackable data to know like, yeah, this is predictable. So when we invest in another SDR and increase our expenses, these are the results we can expect based off of the historic data of 2 months, 3 months, whatever it is. So that's going to increase our margin of safety, I would say, on the results that we're going to get.
And you spoke about this idea last time where I asked you whether, like, for example, views on stability of monthly recurring revenue versus getting more cash up front. And you said, well, there are different types of businesses and different like pros and cons for each. And you said that, okay, in our case, stability will come from us knowing that, okay, we're going to be at 5 to 7 calls per week next few weeks. And I will tell you that I already feel like that because since late August, that's what we've been at all the time. I can't recall a single week when I would not have 1 or 2 calls.
Right. It's and I had this conversation yesterday with one of the guys from CA. It's the volume of meaningful conversations you're having, whether they be sales conversations or just like regular business conversations with business people that are doing business. There's a high, like for example, I was talking yesterday with one of our prospects. He didn't end up working with us. He's not at a point where he needs us this much. But I was talking to him and having a normal conversation where we were discovering the concept of, hey, there's a high chance that even though he didn't buy from me right now, that within the next 6 months, not only will he probably be in a position where he's ready to buy, but there's a very, very, very high chance that he will meet someone or someone will complain to him or someone will ask him, does he know anyone in the operations space that does automations, that does operations? So it's effectively, as you're having a call with a prospect, you're also having a call in perpetuity with all of their connections. Because that prospect, if you do a good job and have a normal conversation, actually deliver value in the sales process, that prospect now becomes one of the nodes in your web where 6 months down the line, if the prospect really didn't buy from you, but really enjoyed the conversation, has got a lot of value. If someone asks him like, hey, do you know anyone that's doing like SaaS coaching? The prospect is like, yeah, I actually had a call with this guy, Denis. He was really cool. You should hop on a call with him. And boom, you get another call completely unrelated to your marketing activities.
And
what I mean by that is having value in the sales process and not having and I think this differs depending on the product you're selling, but not overstressing the sales cycle, not overstressing the closing rate, and actually having valuable sales conversations across time, just like cold emails, right? If you contact 10,000 leads over the course of 3 months, it takes time for it to compound so it actually fills up your pipeline. It goes on the same way on the sales side. Is if you have hundreds of sales calls and they're actually valuable for the person that's on the sales call, that's going to generate you so much in secondary business, not only in direct business, meaning you close the deals that you had on the sales calls, but in secondary business of the networks of the people that you already talked to. And it becomes this thing of like, that's another input, because that's another conversation you had, and that person probably has 10 to 15 to 20 connections that at some point might need your services. So imagine if you talk to 10 people compared to 100 people over the course of 3 months, how many more of these potential conversations will start to happen, and how many potential inbound leads you'll start to get.
That's what I like about the change we've made to our sales process, where, for example, previously I'd be, I mean, sharing less tips and tricks and making more emphasis on, okay, point A, point B they want to get. Yeah, sure. I still highlight current situation and their dream scenario. Is just now my sales calls are usually lasting for more than 30 minutes, leaning towards 45, 60 minutes, just because at halfway through the call, I ask the person, okay, do you have a hard stop now, or shall we also discuss the strategy we would implement for your startup? And then I spend 15, 20 minutes going every single detail. Okay, I believe as you're having this is how it should be fixed, this is how we fix it. Then like second thing, third thing, fourth thing, and so on. And I really think that just because, you know, as I haven't grown a unicorn SaaS startup maybe yet, I think it's better for me to run the sales process just like this way, because I think it helps to eliminate the main objection, like main hidden objection, which is, okay, can this person actually help me out? Because if I make it straight about, okay, what are the steps we're going to go through, what are, like, if I explain the person how over 6 months we're going to add them $250,000 revenue, and they see the entire process and how systemized it is on my end, it eliminates the main objection whether I'm credible to be implementing this process or not. And I like it. So, for example, last 5-7 calls I've been running this a bunch of times. Yeah, sure. One guy, I mean, 100K MRR, asked me still, okay, can you give me some references to this one niche and so on? But primarily, I would say that every one lead I have currently, by the end of us walking through the processes, I mean, they're not doubting whether it's going to help their business move forward. Because what we do right now is, you remember how we identify, okay, but this, I mean, this conversion, are you at this KPI or you're at that KPI? For example, from your second marketing channel, are you booking 2 demos a week or more? They're like, no, I'm not. Okay, we put this to be fixed. Then next marketing channel, do you hit the KPI or not? Then is your reply rates at green zone or not? And that's how we see, like, okay, basically yesterday I had a
you diagnose the company by, like, you know, kind of how like a doctor pulls your blood and it has these references that are like in ranges, and it just flags like, where's the problem, like, oh, your cholesterol's high, your blood sugar is high, and it just flags. I think if you do a good enough job, from what I'm hearing, of just identifying the problems, and even if you just identified the problems without giving a solution, that would be valuable for a prospect.
True, because they've got an action plan to work on. And for example, yesterday I had a call with one person, I think Martech Space, and they're again selling through demos, and they are now getting, for example, 5 demos a month, and close rate is 5%. And then we go through the whole process. Okay, how their lead generation looks like, what are their inputs look like, how many people they manage, how many demos they're booking. Then it's clearly like, okay, these are clear steps of improvement where you can go 5x or 10x in terms of DMs or emails, and you can add more. And then, for example, we look at there's omni-phase sales process. Okay, which parts of the sales process are you implementing now? I'm meaning, are you trying to sell just in this 15-minute time frame product demo, or you're actually using a bunch of like touch points, 7 touch points prior to the call, follow-up subsequences, and so on. And they're like, okay, we're using none of this. Cool. This is how we're going to go from 5% close rate to 15-20. We just add these 20 things. It will help you sell more because you'll eventually build more trust with people. It works.
It works, but you know, Hormozy doesn't say for nothing that, you know, giving away value for free and then selling the implementation on the long term is probably the best way to go about sales and marketing in general. Again, my whole process with this is like, I do not care if a prospect closes this week the next week, next month, or in 3 months. I'm in this business for a long term. The more conversations I have, the more they carry over into pipeline. We had a call with one of the largest agencies in the UK. It's our third call already. They've been in our pipeline for 2 months. First, have a call with the CEO. The CEO said, "Yeah, I'm kind of interested. Let's follow up in this in 3 weeks." All right, let's follow up with this in 3 weeks. We have a follow up in 3 weeks. The CEO is like, "Yep, this is definitely something interesting for us. I'll connect you with our management team. They're available in 2 weeks." Awesome. Let's have a call in 2 weeks and have a call with the management team. "Yeah, this looks good. Can you guys prepare some kind of a pitch deck or a draft?" Like, "Yeah, we got it. How long in 2 weeks?" Awesome. Let's have a call in 2 weeks. And you understand that not everyone is ready to buy at the exact same moment, and not every single, I mean, sure, if you're working with solo founders when the decision maker is actually on the call, but a lot of the time, even if you're speaking to the CEO, that CEO has team members, board members, investors that they have to run this by. So I feel like you have a better position, just a better frame of running the sales call by taking time and not forcing to close, understanding that, hey, I'm having a meaningful conversation, that even if it takes me 3 months for this to close, it's still a meaningful conversation and it will still close it. And if I have enough of these, eventually they'll start lining up so much that I'll have deals that are closing on a weekly basis from the conversations that I had 3 to 6 months ago.
Yeah, and for example, yesterday I sent my book to the guy who is MVP stage quite early and who loves my stuff. And he's like, "Dennis, thanks a lot for sending this stuff to me." By the way, I had a chat with one founder who's already been to a couple of SaaS accelerators, but now wants some in-depth guidance on sales and marketing for his SaaS. I mentioned your thing to him, just like that. And
That's it. That's it. You had a conversation with a prospect, you brought in value, and you know how high of a chance that a SaaS founder will talk to another SaaS founder?
hi, yeah.
Very high. And if you do a good enough, and if you treat the sales process not to be transactional, it's like, "Hey, you're ready to buy or not?" "No." "All right, fuck off, goodbye." And you actually treat it as, "Hey, let's talk," because it's likely that this person that's starting to start trying to have a SaaS business, within 3 to 4 years, they'll figure stuff out. So why would you disqualify the chance of being very transactional with the person and asking like, "Hey, can you pull out your credit card? If not, I don't want to talk to you." No, you have a conversation. That conversation will lead to more conversations online, which will eventually lead to leads.
And I think that YouTube is super powerful because you can funnel your people into this. And for example,
Right.
from you and from another one coach of mine, I hear that, yeah, basically, I'm now figuring out whether newsletter or YouTube is even like, where would you go between two of them? Because on YouTube, the power is that people get to listen to you and watch you regularly, and you are in their eyesight like all the time, and they can hear you speak for like half hour from like in this one video. And the alternative one would be newsletter, where you have their email, and when you I think YouTube is more powerful than a newsletter. For example, there you have the email, but watching someone for an hour a week and reading someone's email every week is different.
I would say you need both because one, not everyone has the time to actually watch you, even though they would want to. And plus, you have people that just consume content and reading instead of videos. So you need to cater, you know, how you have visual learners, you have people that
Yeah.
are better with graphs and like mind maps, and you have people that are better with books.
And
Like
lucid charts.
and lucid charts, exactly. So I think the answer isn't like, oh, what's one or the other. It's like both. You need both. And you need, and it's not only just the newsletter or YouTube. You need the newsletter, you need the YouTube, you need the blogs, you need the SEO, you need the LinkedIn, you need the email. The more channels like that you can stack up, the better it's going to be for you, because the chance, again, you're just having meaningful conversations and you're having meaningful impressions, people actually reading about you and your stuff, and they're getting value from it. Even though you'd never have a call with someone, if someone's reading your newsletter and thinking, "Yeah, this newsletter is very valuable," there's a high chance that that person probably is going to talk to more SaaS founders that need your stuff. So even if the person on your newsletter doesn't convert, just him having a parasocial relationship with you increases the chance of that person referring you someone down the line and you getting more inbound leads because someone referred you.
Do you think that the secret about like becoming successful within 3-5 years is just because within 3-5 years you get exposed to so many people that they just start coming back and so on?
It's not it's not nothing that you have businesses that have been in business for 15 to 20 years, have zero marketing, and still are able to grow and actually have a sustainable business because the amount of goodwill that they created over the 20 years of just having conversations is just enough impressions for them to run a business.
Yeah, because for example, when we were breaking down this input level of different organizations, you've been showing me one which is doing 900 grand a month and so on. It's interesting to deconstruct how, like, what it takes to be doing 900 or 1 million a month in terms of the eyeballs. For example, you said 30K in ad spend, then like being 30K in monthly ad spend, then sending emails from what you mentioned 400 domains or something, and what else was there, and having 100
Partners.
referral
Yeah.
partners. And with that, it's just you look at this and you don't get surprised how the hell they're doing 1 million a month, because if you send 100,000 emails every 2 weeks, you just cannot not close this much in business, right?
Correct. It's
Yeah.
ultimately business is a game of impressions. And sometimes what happens is someone blows up on TikTok and they get millions of impressions on TikTok, hence why they have a big business. Or sometimes it's just a game of, hey, I'm going to get X amount of impressions from TikTok, X amount of impressions from cold email, X amount of impressions from LinkedIn, X amount of impressions for SEO, YouTube, right? And all these different channels is just the amount of people that see you and see your offer. If that number is high enough, you'll be in business. You'll have enough leads.
And
So
I'm also thinking that it has much to do with type of people who you're getting exposed to. Because
of course,
the other week, for example, like this Monday, a guy makes a video an hour long, and I think I watched half of it, where he's breaking down how he's got couple thousand followers Facebook, just barely under 1,000 followers on YouTube, subscribers, and also has few thousand on Instagram. And with that, he is doing like few million a year, because like for his solo business, just off that. And he's also sharing his experience, how he's getting on calls with YouTube channel owners who have like millions of subscribers and are generating less income than he does, just because of the type of eyeballs that you're getting exposed to. So I'm liking this flex of having a lot of profit for each subscriber thing.
yeah, it's a combination of quality and quantity equals leads.
Would you
One
say
way.
just run each sales call with as much value as you can, and then no matter how many deals you close from this sales calls, then over a year, from 200 quality conversations, you're gonna have like a few referrals each week coming anyway?
Correct. And what's going to happen is the person you talk to start of the year, by the end of the year, might be ready for your program.
Yeah, and as I'm planning to run this business for another, I guess, 3-5 years, if not a decade, if not for even longer, why not make each sales call like as value driven as possible, so
Correct.
that the person might be throwing other people my way.
Correct. And that's the difference in terms of short-term thinking businesses, long-term thinking businesses, is not trying to be trend. Like Hermos did this on his last book launch. He said, like, if he tried to sell a course on that book launch, $100 million leads, he would probably made 50 million. But he understood is like, if I just give all this value for free, the back end of me earning 500 million is more likely.
So basically, because sometimes we are getting attention and like put our attention to the stories of, oh, how I went from zero to a few $100,000 within a couple of months, or how I flipped few NFTs and I bought a G-Wagon of that. I think this is like, these are headlines which are comparable to lottery ticket wins, you know. Yes, they do happen, and yes, sure, if you can practice your skill, you increase your chances of being lucky. But I think from what I'm starting to understand is that you can either keep making 1/5% bets on making $1 million of something in less than a year, or you can instead switch your focus to creating a 70% chance of building like a $10 million business within 3-6 years.
By extending the timeline, you're giving yourself chance of success.
From your perspective, for a decent business, how much time does it take to get from, say, not product market fit, but from initial few grand a month to 80 grand and 300 grand a month?
It's two problems you're when you find product market fit, which means people are reaching out to you and they just want to buy. It's an easy sales process, and you're kind of almost trying to fight away prospects. That's true product market fit. Going from there to a $1 million run rate, you have two problems you need to solve. One problem you need to solve is, can you actually fulfill on the amount of leads and demands you're having, right? So that's problem number one. And then two, is it actual product market fit? Because product market fit in its own means people are coming to you from everywhere all the time, and all of them want your money, or all of them want to pay your money. That's actual product market fit. You know, when a SaaS business hits a product market fit, it's not a marketing problem anymore. They don't have a marketing problem. They have a retention problem. They have a churn problem, but it's not a marketing problem. They're getting signups. They're getting people to use it. They're getting people to share it. So on your side, I would say the true kind of bottleneck between now and $1 million run rate is consistently doing the amount of inputs that we're doing in the last month.
Yeah, so for example, if we stick to these inputs and more for 6-12 months, that's gonna be secrets disclosed.
Yeah, and it's yeah, exactly. Like the amount of emails you're sending now, the amount of LinkedIn's you're having, SEO, YouTube, Twitter, all these conversations you're having times 6 months, all that compounding of leads and conversation is going to result in you growing. We just need to be consistent. It can't be up and down, because then you break the momentum.
Mm-hmm. Do you have another 18 minutes or you gotta hop now?
I'm gonna have to hop in 45.
Yeah, you already started partying with everyone you're catching up there. What's the agenda for today and a few next days?
We have a client ascension workout right now.
What? You couldn't miss it, yeah?
Yeah, that we need to. Andre said we're not getting merch if we don't go. So I'm gonna have to go to that. But then midday we're starting breakout session, keynotes, and then at the end of the day we have a dinner.
Friday or Saturday you're gonna have breakout sessions?
I think today's the VIP day.
Okay.
Schedule. Yeah, we have a lunch and mastermind, so whatever that is.
Nice.
Or we're gonna figure something out.
You're getting on a boat tomorrow.
Sorry?
You're going on a boat tomorrow.
Yeah, we're going on a boat. I saw the boat. It's big. Everyone says that it's big. It is big. And yeah, it's gonna be fun. Honestly, the best thing about here, and just like in London when we met up, is the people here is just like a specific group. It feels like a college class or a fraternity, except everyone has the same interests as you do, and everyone's trying to do the same thing. So you can spark up a conversation and have a meaningful conversation with everyone. And I feel like that's not the case in real life.
Yeah, for example, and I'm still hesitant to move to San Francisco because there is just not as much action going on there, and people are walking nude in the streets and a few other things, which is for me, yeah, I mean, I'm not into that yet. It's just for example, feedback I heard is even from someone from IT industry who has been there for quite a while, is that they got so fed up that whatever parts you go to, you just have 20 people with absolutely identical interests and nothing else. For example, climbing, programming, and IT, whatever startup related thing. And I think it may be beneficial for you because you are like in this highly competitive environment, but also, for example, here in London, I meet people from like completely versatile backgrounds. Whereas it's from what I get is like Tampa is super agency centric and San Francisco is super IT centric.
Right. No, you're right. You're definitely right. I would say if I were to
And the
come here,
Balkans are operations centric.
yeah, the Balkans are operation centric. Correct. Hard working.
Yeah.
Good stuff. All right. Action steps for me and you, aside from the call, is the 2 tweaks on the automations are been made. The reason why there's duplicates happening is someone tags the call booked in the call CRM, and also inputs it manually, which creates a duplicate. So the manual input shoots it in the pipeline, and the calls booked moving book, like getting the status moved to calls books, also shoots it into the pipeline.
Maybe because we manually put them in leads, and also the automation adds them in.
Right. So what I'll do is I'll create filters on both.
If there is already one in
if
leads,
there's already,
don't duplicate.
cancel the automation, so the duplicates will stop happening.
Sweet. Okay, Tony, have fun with the workout. I'm sure you're going with this shirt, so don't rip it too much.
This polo to work out.
Yeah. Okay, sweet. Have fun and see you Monday.
Appreciate it. Take care.
Goodbye.